Trekkies and Trekkers. Welcome to this amazing Star Trek podcast on Trek Tuesday. I'm your host Dorinda, and together with my lovely co-host Amanda Hopper, we recap every 2 weeks an episode of Star Trek TNG. All the episodes will be recapped in chronologically following. We will approach each episode with humor and a venom in luck. Today we recap the episode Home Soil. Well guys, let's call Amanda again for this recap. Hello Amanda.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's, as we all know, it's Saturday. It's April, and today is a nice 20 degrees in Canada.
Nice. Yeah, it's warm.
Well, my area is 20. I'm not sure about the other areas.
It's even more warmer than here in the UK. Okay, today's recap is Home Soil. Yeah, we started that with the Enterprise is going to Falara 3 because there is like a scientific group that wants to make an uninhabited planet habited in the way of from nothing life form to life form, and that they can grow everything there. So that's interesting.
Yeah, they want to try to turn a barren planet into something where you can live on and grow stuff and raise people. Basically a colony on there.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
they kind of screwed up on their end because of a thing. Like before you habitat a planet, you gotta make sure nobody's living there before yet, like any creature. But on their end, they kind of screwed up.
Well, I think that was because the other scientists didn't know it, and the head scientist, Dr. Mandel, was very obsessed with the idea, okay, this isn't habited, there are no life forms here, and we will conquer this. And it is a very big breakthrough. Although I must say I never liked him, but okay.
I think he was a bit obsessive about it.
He was obsessed with it.
Yeah, he's like, we need to colonize or make it habitual, be able to live here. And like he was like super obsessed with it.
Yeah, but it was also like when they were on the Enterprise in the first few moments, he was directly to Picard at saying, you're overstepping your boundaries because I'm still the head of this facility, and you're just a guest in a way. But at that time, that was the one of the scientists were being killed by that laser beam. It was one of the technicians who were in that closed area, and the robot laser was doing something unexpected and was charging the technician, and that's why he died.
Yeah, he was like originally it shows it drilling into the hole in the ground, and next thing you know, the door gets sealed shut, and next thing you know, the technician is killed by the laser drill.
So they beamed out that technician to sickbay, and all of them went back, except for another technician and Jodie LaForge and Data. They stayed to investigate how something can happen. But the weird thing was, it never could be happening because they didn't have power. And so Data was the one who gonna investigate the drill, and they did exactly the same sequence as the technician did. After a while, the laser robot or laser drill was attacking him, and it was first that they shut off all the power, and then the drill was attacking him.
Hmm. Yeah, when Data was in there with the drill and it started to attack him, it just shows you how fast he can move from one side to the other while the drill's trying to take him out and try to kill him. The next thing
Yeah,
you know, Data comes out of the door like nothing happened except just all this smoke and stuff, and the technician takes one look at the drill and says, "What did you do to my drill?" Data demolished that sucker.
yeah, but in one way it was the right decision because
Well, yeah,
it shouldn't been doing it.
no, like it was working on its own little brain, like it was a malfunction, and they're like, well, there's no power in here. What is causing it to do it? So a big investigation happens to see what's going on, and Data and Jordy are down there on their own at one point. And they just happen to see this little flicker of light down in the tunnel, and they're like, "Oh, turns out there is life on here." So they beam it up to one
The
of the
Mad Lab.
sections of the med lab. That's it. Thank you. I can remember what they called it. Med lab, and put it under glass, and then did some magnifying and made some kind of odd noise and a bunch of other things. Like then the next thing you know, they found out it was a living creature that was so
Yeah,
microscopic.
it was multiplying, and the weird thing was, when it went to the Mad Lab, Beverly Crusher, Wesley was there, Geordie, Picard, and
Data.
Data. But what I was thinking, why was Wesley there? It doesn't make any sense. Because it's not, I don't want to say total different area for him, but why would he be there?
You think maybe he might have been? Maybe like he's still in school too. At the same time, he could have been working on a school project. Maybe.
Or maybe he was that curious about, quote, new life, unquote. So, yeah, I don't know. It was a little bit weird for me because, okay, everybody was focusing on that new life, and then they were in the med bay or a med lab, and he was there.
Yeah. I was kind of confused about that after now that you mention it. Yeah, what was like he was there and like he wasn't really part of the original grouping, but there he is. He's in the med lab, or he could have been helping somebody out with something in there.
And eventually, when they Beverly said, "Okay, let's evac the med lab because this is can be dangerous," and I totally forgot what that life form was calling human beings.
Oh,
Back
bags
water or
bags of
mostly what?
mostly water.
Yeah,
Yeah, bags of mostly water. Bags of mostly water is what he was calling them.
yeah, that was really. I forgot that, so I laughed about that. There was something else with it. When they it was Picard who told everyone of, well, guys, this is intelligent life. And Dr. Mando was very shocked and said, "What do you mean, intelligent life?" And Picard was saying, "Well, it was trying to communicate with us." You know, Dr. Mando was really obsessed with his projects there because he didn't want to hear and he didn't want to believe that there was actual life form on that planet. That means that if there was life form, they never should be there in the first place.
Yeah, if there's life on there, I think it would have been off limits to try to terraform it if there's life. But apparently he knew there was something going on with that planet, but he's like, no, I'm not going to say a thing about it type attitude. We're just going to keep doing it. Basically the way
Yeah,
he was.
and
He
that's
knew
why.
all along there was something there.
Yeah. And when Picard confronted him with that, the other two scientists was like, "What the hell? Why didn't you tell us? And we would have done different things different." And he was like, "But oh, now I remember where he had also a part in that farm episode with Wesley when the children were kidnapped. He was the musician."
Oh, I never knew that.
When I was rewatching the episode, I was thinking, I know that man, but where? Yeah, it was that musician in the former episode.
Oh, maybe he'll be in other episodes too, probably.
Yeah, in Star Trek can always be everything that people are always doubled.
Recycle.
And
I call it recycling when they use the same actor for different characters.
Well, there was also it was really in one way really strange how they show what the life sign is, and it was more like, yeah, it reminded me as in like a prison outlay, that those corridors, and that's how it looks like.
Like a gridway, like a little starway, like it's like X's and stuff. Yeah, kind of like corridors of a prison, basically.
The interesting thing was, and we find out that in almost at the end of the episode, is that the life form can't without light. So it lives on light, and when they discovered that, they dimmed the light, and then the roles were different, because before they discovered that, the life form was taking over the ship. First it was the med lab, and then he got into the computers.
Yeah, he wanted to start a war with the humans, or as he liked to call them.
Yeah.
Bags of mostly liquid, I think is what he called them most of the time. Well.
Did you notice, by the way, how hideous the hair of Counselor Troy was?
Can't remember. Was it like in a ponytail, or was it all fluffed right up? I forget.
No, it was really, it was like they tied it up in some kind of a hairpiece, but I hate that hair. Because I remember Counselor Troy was the only one character that they really had to look for. It took a long time that they have to find the clothes that suits the Counselor Troy, and that it was the same with the hair.
Wasn't it like it looked like a tiara thing that she had in her hair?
Something like that, but it was like a hairpiece that was put her hair together, and I was thinking, you wouldn't see people walk like with it. And I can't remember if this is really like for better side, or yeah, who knows.
Well, she had some interesting hairstyles for the series.
So, the life form is attacking the crew of the Enterprise. What call the life form microbrain? And I was thinking, microbrain?
That was another nickname for Worf.
Yeah, exactly.
You called Worf microbrain. Microbrain. Yeah.
That was Q, by the way, who called Worf microbrain. The microbrain was attacking the Enterprise, and when they found out that the microbrain couldn't without the light, they had an understanding with the microbrain. The war would stop. They will beam down the life form to the planet, and they will leave them alone. And it was so funny. I thought the life form was saying, yeah, we don't trust you yet, but if you are coming back after what like 300-400 years, then maybe we can trust you. And I was saying, and there was a moment in MATLAB that there was the life form was like 4 little stars, and then it became a crystal. And what I was thinking, that looks like a dilithium crystal. It's also forming like that. So perhaps they use a dilithium crystal for that microbrain form.
Oh, maybe they did. You gotta use what you have to for a prop.
Especially with Star Trek. Star Trek always have done that. So they always
Oh yeah,
recycle.
oh yeah, you'll notice throughout the series they'll recycle props and costumes, and have an actor play multiple characters throughout the series, and you don't realize it's said person until you see the credits.
Or when you look one of the interviews, and there isn't. That's the fun part of Dominic Keating and Trinier Connor of Connor Trinier, who played Trip and Malcolm Reed in Enterprise. They have their own like video podcast.
Oh.
They named it the Shutterpot Show, and it's only to watch and listen on YouTube. But they have really the fun part of it is they have always a guest from their series, and they talk about, for example, about how things were going, or for example a episode. It was not this episode, but the one last episode of that podcast. Do you remember that episode that Trip was becoming pregnant?
Whoa! I still haven't got through all of Enterprise yet, but wow, Trip becomes pregnant.
Trip was pregnant, and there was an alien that he had that romantic thingy, and it wasn't a romantic thingy. It was like he didn't even know, and the only thing he found out is that he had a third nipple on his wrist.
Oh, jeez. That's an interesting spot.
I will take a look in a minute on Netflix and tell you the which episode it was. But the funny part was, he never saw that alien real true face. It is about, what was it, 25-30 years later that he sees her as the actress, as the normal human being that she is. And that was in this episode of the podcast.
Huh.
So I will send you that link.
Okay.
But it was very funny, and it reminded me a little bit of that, because as well as Trip, as the Enterprise grow, and of course the scientific technicians, they were in a world unknown. And that is what we know about Star Trek, of course. It's about exploring and
strange worlds and new civilizations.
Yeah. So it was really nice to see that. But I must say, of course, the first 2 seasons of TNG is still looking of, okay, what are we really? And of course, it's a family ship, but also a scientific ship. But how far they are in the seasons, how more action they got. For example, with the Borg.
Like the first season, they start off slow, then the last of multiple seasons coming into it, that's when the action really gets going crazy.
Yeah. And I think that's I don't know how you experienced it, but like I said, I have been growing up with TNG, and TNG was always the first Star Trek series I followed. Um, I in the beginning, it was like, okay, it's just another sci-fi series. But when they were in season 3 and they actually start writing stories, because you could see there are a lot of background stories, but there was also more like multiple or double episodes.
Yeah,
And
like with Data, he had a couple of episodes there with his brother Lore there. I think it was Descent Part 1 and 2. And there was one he did, Inheritance, I think it's called. That was a two-parter. So I think the first half focused on Data's character, and Julian Bashir was with them. The
mm,
other half of the episode was Worf and his culture of Klingons. So yeah,
in one
like
in one way, I hope they're going to do something with the storyline of the Borg in Picard, because
mm,
that is, of course, we know a little bit from as well as TNG and in Voyager, but it would be super nice if they take advantage of Star Trek Picard. Although I must say, I do love Star Trek Picard. Only some episodes are really fast,
mm.
and
Yeah,
I
like
really
the past week's episode was short.
yeah. But also, I think they could have done more with it. Like if they wrote a two-parter of it, then
Yeah,
because now it is like, okay, I need to watch that episode 2 or 3 times to see everything. And then I'm not
yeah,
including the Easter eggs.
yeah. There probably would be a bunch of Easter eggs hidden. You just don't notice right away. That's why I plan on buying season 2 of Picard on DVD when it comes out.
So it's just really, I think it's, if you compare Picard with TNG, TNG is a lot slower. I think TNG is more like scientific, but also, like I said, in late seasons, it's becoming more like a, I don't want to say battleship, but it's start liking it because of the accountants with the Borg, but also with, of course, Q. And I do really need to
Yeah,
see that, rewatch that episode again, that Q was sending the Enterprise to the Borg, because it's very interesting how things are going. And I must say, and I'm going to say this, I have said it to my friends as well. I really was bummed out that Paramount released already a trailer of season 3.
I was surprised when I saw that myself. I was like, "Oh, they're doing that already? They showed it already? They could have waited a little longer."
Yeah, I was really disappointed by that. And of course, it was great news, but
Mm.
I think they should have waited till the last 2 episodes, or one last episode that season 3 would be aired, and then say, okay, this is a preview of what will
Happen.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Almost the whole crew from TNG will be on, but I don't know about Wesley or some other people though.
Wesley isn't be in there because I don't know why, but I saw an article why he didn't want to
Oh,
or being there. So, but in one way, I think it's very cool. And I remember a picture from season 1 when they were also already shooting season 2 and 3, that the TNG crew were visiting the set of Star Trek Picard.
oh,
Now we are already talking about Star Trek Picard. There was something else I really, really are shocked by, and that was an announcement of the 55th mission to Star Trek in Chicago that is going on now, they
Yeah.
have announced that they will have an auction of all the things from Star Trek Picard.
Really?
And I'm really, really mad about that because I'm thinking, do it, get those things into a Star Trek museum. It belongs
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah, that stuff should be more in a museum than auctioned off.
yeah, and I know that for a fact, and it was when Star Trek Picard aired in the first season. I went to the Star Trek destination in Birmingham, and that was the first time they had a little museum of the Star Trek Picard season. So I was
Hmm.
thinking, why not? There were two places, and there are more places, of course, in America that have actually are museums with original Star Trek stuff in it. Why not save it? This is Star Trek legacy. And if you see also, there was I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there is a documentary called Center Seat, the 55th years of Star Trek, hosted
I
by
don't think so.
Gates McFadden. I don't know. Do you have? I don't know if you can see it up there. Oh, maybe you can see it on Paramount Plus. I think it's on there, but it's a
Oh,
documentary
Plymouth Plus.
about. It's a documentary for 11 episodes now about Star Trek, and there are all those people who created Star Trek, and they say, yeah, when Star Trek was finished, everything went into the dumpster. That's how some of the fans, and also still some of the created people there, have original stuff of Star Trek. So,
Huh.
but makes me really irritated and annoyed and angry, because as a Star Trek fan, what the heck, you know?
Mm.
It's for everyone, and it's for. Why would you auction that off? That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. It sounds so weird that they would do that. Yeah, like why auction off? Put it in a museum. Everybody needs to see the stuff. Not just sell it off for some random person to hide in their house in behind a glass case. Show it
Yeah,
off to everybody in a museum.
but I mean also, it looks like, and I really have that feeling with, as well, Picard, as Discovery, and now Strange New World. I love those little promo videos of Strange New World, by the way. It's really it's like a one day fly Star Trek series, if I can say it like that. It's like, okay, every season we invent something new, close new things, and that will be it.
Huh.
One of the reasons I can't on the ground Discovery is because it's every year, every season another uniform. And although I can understand it in one way, because they are going to the future, but then the other way, oh, you have no idea, from the cosplay world, a lot of people saying we can cope with it because it is so much and so fast with new costumes. We can't handle it.
Yeah, I noticed that with some of the shows there of Star Trek, instead of having just one uniform for like all the seasons like they did with TNG, they like to swipe it up, they like to switch it up and go with different outfits for every season.
Yeah,
I noticed that.
I didn't like that because, yeah, it's just so confusing.
Hmm.
And I do think with Picard, they really have a more freedom in the way of costumes, because Picard
Yeah.
isn't official Starfleet anymore.
No, like he's retired admiral.
Yeah. and including his crew.
Yes, they were all retired from Starfleet. Like Riker and Deanna live on, I forget the name of that planet, but they get to wear what they want instead of Starfleet uniforms. Picard wears his nice outfits around his Chateau Picard. Annika, the 7 and 9, I think her name's Annika or something like that. She wears these really nice outfits.
Yeah, she did. But also, oh my god. Sorry, people. Maybe this is spoilers for you. Or we are talking about Star Trek Picard now, but what the heck? Did you see the last episode? Let me question that first.
Yes.
Okay.
I saw that episode Thursday night of Picard.
I think, and it was mentioned by someone else on Facebook, that the Red Dress of Juriati was a mention to Battlestar Galactica. The one who was the ghost Cylon of the Doctor. And she always wore red.
Yeah, I've seen some episodes of Battlestar Galactica. I think I know what you mean. I know she would wear some type of red on her.
And what the heck? Juriati can sing.
I know.
Whoa. Oh my god. When they suggested that with all the jazz, etc., I was thinking, oh, please let 7 of 9 sing. That would be nostalgic and deja vu, because she did that in Voyager. But it was Jurati who sang. And I was
What was the name of that song? What was the name of the song that Girardi sang?
Wasn't that Fly Me to the Moon? I can't remember, but that's fine. But there was a lot of happening in that episode, and there was a deja vu again, because Soji discovered that she was a clone. Like in the first season, that she... Yeah. We see for the first time, that some family member of the Zone is actually human.
Adam.
Yeah.
Adam Although
I must say, he had a really strange yellowish skin. But okay. Let's back to the episode. We are recapping because we are
way off track.
yes. But okay, it's a Star Trek podcast, so it doesn't matter that way. Is there something you'd like to add?
I can't really think of anything to add to this episode.
Okay, then we are going to right away to the point of rating this episode. I rate it like a 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that one too.
And it was kind of a nice episode. Only I personally think, and that is what I think from the last couple of episodes, they could have done more. But bear in mind, it's still the first season of TNG, so they still were looking where they're going to. So I will give it a 7.
Yeah, it's true. We're only into the first season. They're still working out the kinks in the show.
So normally we will have one of us would have a question for you guys, but I think it's time to change that. So we are going, instead of asking you a question, we'll have a team for this episode. So Amanda, what was your team for this episode? Well, my team is that be brave and try to communicate even if you don't speak the same language.
Basically try to listen to the person that's communicating to you type theme, I guess you could say. That's all I can think of. Listen closely to, I don't know, something like to that effect.
Okay, well, then think we are at the end of this episode. And I hope you guys liked it. Once again, tell us what you think. Because the feedback will help us or give us some positive feedback in how we can do things differently. And, well, we will see you in about 2 weeks with a new episode recap. In about 2 weeks. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper, guys.
Dear listeners, thank you for listening and join us in 2 weeks for a new episode recap. In the next episode, we will recap the episode Coming of Age. Girls Talking Track is also to listen, follow and subscribe on Anchor, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, the Facebook group and the YouTube channel. If you like to comment on the episode or talk with us about the Star Trek episode we just recapped, you can reach out on the Facebook group and the YouTube channel of Girls Talking Track. We will see you in 2 weeks. Live long and prosper.